All right, everybody. This is back on the cylinder talk where I was talking about the guy with the hydraulic fluid getting coated and Michael Dirt Perfect with his oil bath. I'm charging an AC system right now. I just got done doing a 7.3, a 96 7.3 with broken exhaust manifold. But I also have a Jerrdan cylinder. Those are my daughter's safety glasses laying there. I have a Jerrdan cylinder laying here. What I wanted to show you on these are an odd packing, an odd retaining system. I say about it being a Jerrdan cylinder because I have never ran across this on any other units. It was always Jerrdan rollbacks. I've done a lot of cylinders in my life, and this is the only time I ever come across this style. Your gland sits in here. You have, let me grab a rag. You have a snap ring right here, and then your gland sits in. That is your retainer for the gland. You don't have a gland nut, gland cap. It's just a snap ring right there. And your gland sits in here, and then you have a snap ring back here. Now that snap ring there keeps your gland from going back, but it also keeps the piston from coming out. Okay? So the only way that I hit a button, hold on. Yeah, we're good. The only way that I know of getting Jerrdans apart is you have to hydraulically push them apart. You can't push that gland out with compressed air. And I don't know if you'd really want to. I've tried it and I've never gotten them apart. Most of the time the best thing to do is to pop these apart when they're still on the machine or on the piece of equipment, roll off, roll back, container truck, whatever you're using these cylinders are on. This one of course was brought to me off the truck, and I don't have hydraulic power to break these apart. So anytime that I come into doing one of these, what I do is I extend the rod all the way out, and I will jack the far end up, and I will fill the cylinder with oil, and I will pump it all the way full. This one it took 10 gallons. Pump it 10 gallons, and I put a cap on it. Now it still has a brass fitting in it from me removing my oil, but I put a cap on it. Now that will lock it in, and then I go to this end, and all this is brake line with a flare with 1/8 inch pipe thread grease fitting. And I pump grease into them. The gland, your piston, comes up to about here. So I start pumping grease into it, and with the oil locked in behind it back here, it can't push back. So this external snap ring has already been removed. It ends up pushing the gland out. So then you can go and take the plug off the back and drain all your oil back out, and then pull the rod out, get that internal snap ring out, and then, well, I'm sorry, you get all your oil out, push the rod back in some, get your internal snap ring out, and then you can pull your rod back out. Reason I don't like Jerrdan's setup besides that is this snap ring is out in the weather. And that's just from the witness marks of the gland. This snap ring rotted off at some point in time. This had brand new seals in it. Well, it rotted away when they were using it. This thing, under pressure, blew the gland out. There was still, had to have been a piece of snap ring in there. And it cocked the gland in there, so now it was no longer running cylindrical with the tube. Cocked the gland, and it shoved the gland out, and it mangled the outside of the gland. So the person took a file to it and tried to clean it up, and they put it back together. And apparently it did work, because when the guy bought it, he said that they were using it and it wasn't leaking oil. When I got it apart, the gland was, you could see where it rolled on the shaft and rolled on the rod, and the rod pushed the sealing face in. So the aluminum, it's an aluminum gland, the aluminum was rolled over and crushed the sealing ring. So they just put a seal in it, and it stayed in. It was about a third of the way around. They put a seal in it, and it stayed in it for a couple of uses. But it wasn't a quick fix. It wasn't a permanent fix. It was a quick fix to stop a leak. And so I had to make a gland for this one. But I got to start assembling this. I just wanted to put that out there as a small hint for whenever you got to run into a Jerrdan cylinder and you have it off the machine, fill it full of oil, pump it out with grease. It'll push that gland out. All right, take it easy, everyone.